Their latest excuse is that asking for the documents and suing for the documents means they can't release the documents as quickly as they otherwise would, which I've been doing this work for longer than I care to admit to. That's the first time I've ever heard that excuse. The states have Freedom of Information Act laws, including in Tennessee, and I know many Americans have been concerned about getting access to the manifesto, the so-called manifesto, allegedly written by the murderer of those 6 innocents in Texas last month at the Covenant School. And for whatever reason, the Memphis Police Department, I do know the reason, they've told us, has been withholding this manifesto. And the concern is that it's being withheld because the shooter, a woman, supposedly was transgendered or whatever, and people are thinking that is this an example of transgender extremist violence, and that her manifesto or whatever her journal is would disclose that and raise issues for the left they'd rather not deal with. So is there a political reason for withholding this information? And secondly, there's a big issue, as always, when there is a mass shooting of the government and the left trying to confiscate guns, ban guns, and come after the civil rights protected under the Second and 14th Amendment related to gun ownership and use and bearing arms and all of that. So we've seen the obvious public interest in getting access to this information. So we worked to get access to the information, and we were stonewalled, and we sued. And I know people are saying, well, is Judicial Watch going to do something about it? Usually, yes, we will do something about it, certainly if we can. And we announced a public records lawsuit for records about the March 27th, 2023 shooting at the Covenant School in Tennessee, including the reported manifesto written by the female shooting suspect. And she's not really a suspect. The police have concluded that she was the murderer, obviously. The suit is against the Metropolitan government of Nashville and Davidson County and the Chancery Court for the state of Tennessee's 20th District. On April 13, 2023, the Tennessee Firearms Association, one of Judicial Watch's clients, submitted 2 open records requests. The first request asked for the Metropolitan Nashville Police Department's copies of records or files and inspection of the manifesto reportedly found in the home of Audrey Elizabeth Hall on March 27, 2023. And the second request asked that the police produce copies of the records or files and inspection of all email communications of Memphis police officials regarding the mass shooting committed by Hall on March 27th, as well as their text messages and copies of the manifesto. So we wanted everything, right? Supposedly something was found in her home, something was found in her vehicle. We wanted to cover all bases. The other request was broader. It was on behalf of a retired Hamilton County, Tennessee Sheriff, James Hammond. Hammond requested all police reports documenting the incident. Essentially, we want the file. And I could list everything, but we want the file. We want the manifesto. The sheriff knows what he's asking about. He's a well-respected man down there, and it's just unbelievable that we're having to go to court to sue for this. And I told you why we're concerned there are politics behind this. Tennessee authorities have cited no credible reason for hiding the killer's manifesto about this deadly shooting of 3 young children and 3 school employees. Politics shouldn't trump transparency and the public safety. The public has an urgent right to know the details of this manifesto. That a public records lawsuit is required to try to access this key document is a scandal. And when I say about the public safety, if you know what motivates folks and you know there are issues, well, that can help you figure out when other folks are contemplating violence and whether you should be taking those issues seriously. You know, the reasons and motivations and this type of documentation contributes to the public safety because it helps ensure, in theory, that it won't happen again or it might be prevented in the future. And obviously it will inform the public debate about what to do about this, right? Some folks want gun control. There's this debate about transgender extremism and its effect on those going through these treatments and these processes or in the thrall of what I call this transgender extremist ideology. You know, all of that is going to be informed by the release of these public documents. And as I said, they're public documents. We're not asking for secret documents. Documents like these are typically released. You may recall they quickly released the video showing the heroic and inspiring video of those police officers going into the school and taking this killer out. And I don't know if you've seen the video, but it's not pleasant to watch. But God bless those police officers. And but we want everything else. And the fact that they released that video and not this other material suggests there's politics involved. And maybe the documents will show that some politicians, or they were interfered with, or there were political concerns that prevented the release, contrary to law, of these documents. So the court is acting quickly. She has set a hearing for May 18th. So before you know it, we will have a hearing. And what's really interesting is that the police department put out a statement saying, oh, we can't release these documents because of the litigation. And I said to a reporter the other day, I said, well, on what planet does a request for documents somehow mean that they can't release the documents quickly? Are they suggesting, you know, it should be just the opposite? A lawsuit should lend urgency to releasing the documents under law. But now their latest excuse is that asking for the documents and suing for the documents means they can't release the documents as quickly as they otherwise would, which I've been doing this work for longer than I care to admit to. That's the first time I've ever heard that excuse. Hundreds of Freedom of Information Act lawsuits. I've never heard a government agency say, our lawsuit is slowing down the release of the records. Incredible, incredible. So it makes me even more suspicious that they're hiding something, or it's being hidden inappropriately in the least. So when that pops up, when we get those documents, and I think we will get these documents, we'll be sure to let you know. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and like our video down below.